All right, man. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to play that intro for you all. Thought it was a pretty good song. Uh, Dropped 8 days ago or so. By Chris Webby. Uh, he might be new to some of you guys or whatever. Not too mainstream or popular. Another white rapper, kind of like NF or Logic. That type of G-Eazy genre, Yellow Wolf style from Gadsden, Alabama, right? Michael Wayne. But yeah, anyways, thought it was thought it was really interesting, you guys. And it's 7 minutes. Like I said, it gave a few minutes for you guys to get in here and to be joining us now, and we wanted to continue this month plus old long decode. We've been on a non-stop decoding Super Bowl 60 continued, right? I spent over 200 hours on the Super Bowl decode I did a couple years ago, you guys, showing Kamala Harris rising to power, the rise of the Red Queen, I'd called it, the Whore of Babylon, right? And anyways, several months after that Super Bowl that year, we saw Joe Biden get replaced with Kamala. So again, looking at these things, these events, they hold a lot of power. They hold a lot of weight in our realm, in the alchemy of how things tend to happen on the world stage. And so we've been continuing to share the story, okay, because I believe it's a story to be told. And the other night we were seeing on the 69th day of the year, the Miami Heat in a fire horse year. There's that fire symbolism. They have a basketball with a basketball on fire as their logo, right? We saw one of their players score 83 points, the second most ever scored in a game now, okay? We know breaking Kobe Bryant's record. A lot of you may know Kobe. Anyways, now we're going to have to say Bam. But, anyways, he was by far, up until Steph Curry came in the league, the greatest three-point shooter, the greatest shooter of all time, who had died a few years ago, right before the C-19 world lockdown, in a helicopter crash, giving us 83, like the points scored by the Heat's Bam Adebayo. Okay, so second only to Wilt Chamberlain now, okay, in NBA history. So we were looking into this and decoding it because, again, this is tied to the murder code, Death by Numbers, Murder by Numbers, the movie that came out, the song released by the Police on their 1983 Synchronicity album. These subtle hints of what runs this realm, which is gematria, numerology, astrology, etc. This astrological, ancient numerical code, correct? Hebrews have used it for 2,000 plus years. It dates all the way back to Greek isopsophy, right? So, it means something. And so we've been looking at this and sharing it and keeping you informed with what I think this story is telling us. Which is, again, that there's going to be a scripted ritual, a potential murder, death, right? So Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash 47 days prior to March 13th, Friday the 13th. And here we are in class on the second Friday the 13th this year. We enjoyed a class last month on a Friday the 13th in February, right before the 2/17 Ring of Fire eclipse, and Now here we are again on Friday the 13th, enjoying class again, just like we saw 6 years ago, the lows for the cryptocurrency market. And, well, for the Dow Jones, it was not the lows, but more of a fake out into lows. This 13th was a green day back in 2020, Friday the 13th, right? That led into March 23rd, that 322 code into the 23rd. Lows that we had saw down 38% over a span of 40 days roughly for the Dow Jones. Okay, but Bitcoin, we know, if we were to look at that, we've done that in the past and seen that $3,000 price, right? So go here and look, $3,000, that happened on March 13th, Friday the 13th. Okay, so pretty unique that was a 47-day span. Kind of like the tsunami I see coming, and potentially literally. We had done that decode the day after tomorrow, not too long ago, and I can see a potential tidal wave hitting Geostorm, a potential tidal wave hitting maybe New York or Seattle, the Golden Gates, east or west coast. But just the event that I see building up, the energy that they've been harvesting since February and the beginning of this fire horse year, and all the rituals that we've seen take place, especially here in Pisces on the 69th day of the year, the Pisces Zodiac 69. Bam Adebayo, however you say it, I'm sorry. His name adds up to 69, right? So March 10th was the 69th day of the year. This was tied to, Kobe Bryant eclipsing his record and also tying us all the way back to C19. Okay? So very important. Kobe Bryant died 47 days before C19 and the lows of the market and the apex of the fear and, the start of that global shutdown. Okay? This was a trigger for Kobe Bryant, was a trigger for that event, right? He scored 81 points in his 666 game. And that's very unique because from Kobe Bryant's death until 2 days from now, March 15th, the Ides of March, which was when Julius Caesar was assassinated, is 6 years, 6 weeks, and 6 days. That 666 code. And again, his birthday or his death day to Friday the 13th in 2020 was 47 days, like President number 47, Donald Trump, right? Okay, so think about that. As we approach the Ides of March this year, on the 74th day of the year, do we see something happen, a tsunami take place to number 47? So murder gives us 79. That's the golden age, the golden alchemy number from turning lead into gold, a connection to gold, the golden element, and Trump, who took us into the golden age, right? And his age of 79 years old. Okay, so very unique, very powerful. All right. When Adebayo scored his 83rd point, it was on a second free throw after shooting his 43rd free throw. Okay. He had like 41 field goal attempts, 43 points at halftime. Miami Heat, you can see right here, equals 43, right? From Kobe Bryant's anniversary of his death until this game day was 43 days, right? Which is why we saw this 43 code. They took him out as he entered his 43rd minute of play that night. Okay, all tied to Lucifer 43. I thought I added that. I must not. But that's the Lucifer code, the 666 code that you're seeing in this decode, right? That ties back to C19. Okay. So I thought this was all very powerful, very unique. Okay. Again, tied to Murder by Numbers, which was released on April 19th, my son's mother's birthday. Which adds up to 69 this year in date numerology, which is the 109th day of the year, which sums to 19. And this game was 1 month and 9 days from the anniversary of the release of this movie. Like C19, right? So very unique, very powerful. Because, again, this brings us into this time period of the Ides of March coming up. And, well, what is that? Well, again, that's the assassination date. That's the 666 code, right? 6 years, 6 weeks, 6 days since Kobe Bryant's death to the Ides of March this year. Do we see another death? Possibly to President Trump. Well, 666 days prior to March 11th, the day they shut the world down and started 14 days to slow the spread that ended up into being 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Was 666 days since Clade X, a global health security simulation, was held on May 15th, 2018. That 515 date, which is important because, well, that's the day that James Comey last year, 2025, May 15th, 515, came out and made the 8647 out of seashells on the beach, right? So again, very unique that Clade X was held on the same day that James Comey told us, scripted numerically, to take out the orange guy. So I just wanted to throw that there because, again, this character, bam, 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 like the Flintstones character, right? I've been meaning to add that in here. That was my nickname given to me in prison, you guys, because look, dude, I used to go off young and, well, anyways, bam, bam. Again, that kind of war theme, that narrative, right, that we're seeing on the world stage right now. But bam, 83 points. Bam, shots fired, right? This man made his NBA debut on 10/18, October 18th. Okay, so we'll go to that day real quick just so we can get a visualization of this day this year. A day leaving 74 days left in the year this year. And we're approaching the 74th day on the Ides of March this year. This day adds up to 74 in date numerology. And it is 17 months and 4 days from when James Comey made those scripted messages of BAM 47. Okay, that's the Lucifer code 174, 147 that we've been sharing in our decodes, right? Like, let's go back to this recent rapper's death. We can see that 741, Manly P. Hall, 147, 417, whatever, you know, just an anagram of those numbers together is the number of Lucifer, the sigil, okay? So, very unique that we just remember that as we see this, because that's when he made his debut. So again, we'll tie it to the upcoming anniversary of when he did that, but he did it in the 2017 year, like the Great American Eclipse that was starting that year, and kind of like the Ring of Fire eclipse we just had on 2/17 this year. Okay? But more importantly, what that 10/18 is, what it is Luke 18, tied to Lucifer right here, when he was banished from heaven. I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Okay? So again, lightning representing Zeus, representing Thor, representing Satan, Lucifer. Okay? Representing that flash, that event that we could be seeing take place right here. That is the lightning bolt, the strike, right? Okay? So, pay attention, because that is the feast of St. Luke, celebrated on this same day that this man joined the NBA in 2017. And his name, again, adds to 201, just like Event 201, held by the Johns Hopkins Center of Disease Control on October 18th, 2019, before we saw C19, which was 666 days after Clade X. Okay, all of this ties together, and it's a Little Nas X and his shoe deal that we saw released on March 29th, 2021. Because when we look back at that release of them 666 pair of shoes with real human blood in them, that he signed as a false stain bargain, he said in the news article, a deal with the devil. That's what that means. False stain bargain. Look it up. All right. Satan shoes, they called them. Tied to Skull and Bones, Brotherhood of Death. To the day, March 13th, Friday the 13th. Again, bam, where's number 13? Was 1,810 days ago. 1,810, an anagram of Luke 10:18. Like, this was truly alchemy at its finest to the work that we've been sharing with you all for well over a month, that we saw take place on the 69th day of the year, a tribute to Saturn. You know, really, really remarkable. And then I saw we had Miss Haley out here, Miss Boston, right? Out here sharing that Netflix is going to be releasing a series at the end of this month on March 26th, which again is truly the first month, like the 126 code, like the 126K highs we hit back in October, right? Well, something very bad is going to happen. So again, we've been seeing that the bride, the Antichrist, is coming. What it told us in Revelations, right? In Revelation 21:10, it said, "And I saw the bride, the mother of the 1,000, and her attendants, wearing a crown of 12 stars, and her head a new name, which no one knows except for the one who has the power to save the souls of the Lamb." 21:10. Here comes the bride. You know what I'm saying? And again, 211, 21:10, 211 code, 47th prime, ties us directly back to 8647. March 27th, the day after this whole series releases, all 8 episodes, on the first day, will be followed by the 86th day of the year. 8647 code. Something very bad is going to happen. And they're telling us something very bad is going to happen is 151 in reverse reduction, which is the 36 prime number in my IQ, by the way, 151. Which we know is tied to 666 code, being the 36 triangular number. And from March 26th to Mayday, 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 it is exactly 36 days tied to the devil's bride and the 666 code. So very remarkable. She's partnered with the Duffel brothers. Okay. Giving us that 213, that death code, right? That Pisces code, brothers, twins, Pisces, right? The 2 fish, okay? Duality right here. The twins representing Boaz and Yachin, the pillars, okay, in Freemasonry. So again, all this ties to Here Comes the Bride. that like Stranger Things was showing us, which is, made by the Duffel brothers, by the way. This is going to be remarkable. Going to be interesting to see what they portray in this series. Gonna have to decode that and look into it. But Friday the 13th, obviously, this is all tied together to today, class tonight, and us presenting this to the world. But March 26th to July 4th, the anniversary of America that we've been talking about in the 26th year so much, is 101 days from the release of Something Very Bad is Going to Happen. Being tied to the 26 prime number, that God code, right? 101 again being the Pisces code, and or the Gemini code, Trump being a Gemini born, June born president. We can view this dualistically, okay? So let's remember that. I'm gonna check out the chat real quick, you guys. I need to get a quick drink. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of get caught up on that and see what you guys have been saying while I take a quick drink and get ready to present my last slide, and then look at the charts and hang out with you guys for the rest of class. Thank you, Oz. Appreciate that, my friend. Adibayo. Bam, bam. Yeah, yeah. Look, I used to box too growing up. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing for me to throw a 1, 2, 3, 4 combo. I've been known to hit a few people 2 or 3 or more times before they ever even got a chance to swing. I take off like a rocket now. I just don't like to fight, to be honest. I know I can hurt somebody. I know somebody can hurt me, so I guess it's dangerous. It's strictly always been for me. I've never been a bully. I've just always stood up for myself or others. So that's it. I've never been a big guy. I've just always been athletic and built like that. So expect fuel line. I was just saying that fuel lines of the 1960s, late 60s, early 70s. Like I feel it, man, in my bones when I was seeing $9.21 gasoline in California. Yeah. He said, "Bro, you're literally the electric dude." All right. I need to make room. Who's got that other Economist? Look, chill out, kitty. Who's got that other Economist magazine cover that we saw earlier this year? It would Trump on it in the markets with the swords. I need to add that. 2026. Yeah, I totally spelled that wrong. Y'all know which one I'm talking about now. This one. Yeah. That's the only thing I've been wanting to add. Little mad scientist behind the scenes. Well, y'all can see it's, I mean, I do it, I just do it. I still got a lot that I've looked at, and I haven't got a chance to even begin to decode. If this kitten doesn't quit clawing my knee, bro, go on. Little kittens, man. In one of my last videos, I was just sitting here talking to you guys, and she just jumped up, the same cat, just jumped on my leg and clawed the crap out of it. And I was rewatching the video the other day, and I heard that part. I'm like, man. But, yeah. I'd felt it. When I'd reheard that part, I'd still felt it in my leg. But, yeah. But as y'all can see, man, I've been hard at it. Talking about this March 20th time period, the spring equinox, what I call the spring solstice, man, and the true start of the new year, as we are roughly a week away from cherry blossom season at that point. I mean, it's really hard to tell. We can't just ask nature when it's going to start, right? This is a revolving date type of season, cherry blossom season. It's always packed by the importance of the equinox, the March equinox. And anybody that's seen my cherry blossom videos for 4 years or so, have seen my work of this time period, knows that. The autumn equinox, these things are something that, I've spoken about for quite some time. And so to me, it's always been that, and other astrological aspects combined with, said eclipses, etc., that make up financial astrology, not just, say, eclipses or Mercury retrograde, It's a deeper complexity, and so we're right here, and we're seeing a lot of energy get shared over this latest Economist magazine cover, an attack on the world economy, again giving us that 101 code we just ended the last slide off with. And being the 26 prime, we were told the world ahead in 2026 was going to be, nothing less than fucking chaotic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you can't look at that picture right there and tell that, they plan to bring the heat this year, then, we've known for a few months now that this time period is everything. And so we're about to see a reset. C-19, 9/11, World War I, World War II type of, reset. And it's inevitable with the code that, we've been sharing at a nonstop rate, right? And now here they are telling us again. So again, if we were to just look at this and break this all down, it's pretty remarkable, right? On March 20th, which is the last day that this warns about, from Pi Day tomorrow, Saturn Day, right? Like we can't expect some chaotic nonsense to start tomorrow on Pi Day, right? Leading into Sunday, the Ides of March, right? Famous Julius Caesar assassination. But this next week is going to be critical. And y'all know that. We've been talking about it since I released my Uranus stationed in retrograde premiere in like June, July of last year. Maybe before then. But, we were working on it and getting ready to release it in around that time period. So, we were talking about it in classes for like a month or so prior to that, right? And so, since then, we've talked about these time periods. And so this next week, as you all know, as we start the true new year, new cycle, It's important, especially this year when we see the Regulus star at the heart of Leo the Lion positioned in the sky. This is that Sphinx rising in the scripture, that ascension point. Okay. Some say the second coming, etc. So between tomorrow, Pi Day, everything coming back full circle in our work here, to the Ides of March, to, I'm going to say, well, as late as the 26th, 27th of March, we need to pay attention to the orange guy or world event to take place. 9/11 style, World War style. The FBI has been out here warning of Iranian drones attacking California. Okay. So, I mean, like I said, a tsunami, right? Anything. But we know in particular what the code continues to show us, what it continues to show us. And that is order out of chaos, like they're showing us right here, at this time period. All right. And the only healthy looking market right now is Bitcoin, and we'll talk about that when we get the charts pulled up right now in a minute. But again, somehow this is all tying us right back to October 6th, which was the 86th day of the year, or 86 days left in the year, when Bitcoin hit 126K highs and has been in a down trend since. And now looking to rise while everything else has been peaking and looking to want to capitulate some more, like the Dow Jones recently. We'll just go right here. If we lose this 322 EMA, we're going to capitulate more. Now it can maybe bottom and start working its way out as well. Great bounce structure right here. RSI reset on the daily. Stochastic RSI has been reset for quite some time, since the eclipse of March. All right, that blood moon. So, you want to pay attention to your weekly as well. But critical range for the Dow Jones right here. It can capitulate, bring liquidity down. All right, just like gold's losing the 21 EMA on the daily, can capitulate back to that $4,700 range. All right. That 1618. Okay. So we need to pay attention to that. Gold can start capitulating. Dow Jones can start capitulating, while Bitcoin's looking, well, pretty healthy, as long as we can continue to rise above 74K. Okay. Continue to hold 69K, a 6-year previous high, treated now as support. Okay. Until it's not. If we lose it, we'll talk about that. If we lose 66.6, you guys know what's up. You've seen the code. So, pretty unique. But since then, when Bitcoin hit that high on the 86 days left in the year, we've been in a downtrend. And an attack on the world economy gives us 106, which is tied to October 6th, the day leaving 86 days in the year. The 106 day. So if we go from that day to March 20th, when this magazine is talking about the equinox, the Regulus, blue-white star, pay attention to Israel around this time period. Leo the Lion, okay, being positioned correctly in the sky where, it has anciently been talked about. It's been 5 months and 15 days from the high of Bitcoin to March 20th and the equinox after the new moon. Again, tying us into May 15th, when James Comey put this on the beach. So do they take this man out on the Ides of March? Or around the 20th? Or do we see an event happening that brings forth the Antichrist out of this man? But one of the two. But that's a span of 310 days, you guys. From when James Comey made these beach seashell picture. Coded message. March 10th, 2020 was the last day of normalcy. I've been teaching you guys this before they shut the world down on March 11th. 310 was the last day our lives were normal before they changed forever. You see the code there? The same day Bad Bunny was born. He was born on March 10th, and he was just in the Super Bowl performing, right? And down the rabbit hole we go. The rabbit hole is the circle of pi. The never-ending story. The constant in mathematics. So from May 15th to March 20th is a span of 10 months and 6 days tied back to an attack on the world economy, tied to that 106 code that we've been tying to alt season, right? And tied to that 86 code. So, I mean, you guys, the alchemy that we've been seeing on the world stage it's been hot, man. It's just like what I said it would be, fucking spicy, man. It's been spicy recently. You know, that intro alone has basically taken 43 minutes of class. That's crazy. That's crazy after that 43 code we just did on Bam Adebayo in the Discord and now in class. Man. Because again, you know, he had scored 43 points at halftime. He was taken out in his 43rd minute. The Miami Heat were established in the 43rd NBA season. I didn't even bring that up earlier, but he scored 83 points, the death code, murder code, eclipsing Kobe Bryant's points of 81 that he scored in his 666 game, 43 days after his death, the anniversary of his death. Unique, man. That intro basically just took 43 minutes, though. Man, that's nuts. So what do you guys think about that? And again, man, that's just what I put together and finished putting together from the Kobe Bryant slide, the last 3 slides. I put all those together after work today, between class. You know, just things I had been finding that I never had time to get to you guys because, you know, 2 jobs, you know, working, taking care of my son and stuff, you know. But I had to make sure I got it done. Hopefully this weekend I can find some more time to finish cleaning the house and, you know, I mean, get some more work out to you guys. There's been a lot more that's happened, but not as pertinent to me as that. Important connections and decodes, but that was really my main focus right there. Maybe we could see regulations with, you know, moving past the March 20th time period. That's a good way to look at it. You know, regulators mount up. You know what I'm saying? But only some will get that. But yeah. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree that the 11th was the best day of this year for the economy. I mean, just looking at the Bitcoin price action alone, I mean, maybe, because it was confirmation of holding the 69K that day. A 6-year previous high turned to support possibly on that day. Maybe it was your saving grace, and can be viewed as the best day that way. But I don't view it as a negative connotation. Like, again, I think a lot of these people, man, out here putting this fear mongering out there, man, for one, they do it because it sells. Fear sells. Truth doesn't, apparently. And we've learned that. You know what I'm saying? But neither does peace, love, and abundance for some reason. And that's crazy because those are the most vibrational frequencies ever and true authenticity. And again, like, everything we just stated is what we've built our work around. But you know what I'm saying? You see how fear sells more, gets more views, gets more likes, gets more shares. I'm just throwing that out there because, like, I think a lot of these folks are reading this shit wrong. I'll behave. Got a blue moon coming up, like one of you guys was just saying. I think the electric guy the other day, you know, we had saw that too this year, every once in a blue moon. Every 60 years we see a fire horse year. It's like this ain't as common as another horse year, and yeah, just turbulence, man, just turbulence. I think is what we're experiencing right now. It's just more turbulence, and that may be because we've already had the Mayday call. We've already called Mayday, and we're going through the down the spiral. That's fine, but I just don't believe that. Look, Donald Trump gonna save America unless they take this man out, bro. Period. Like, it's written in the script. You know what I'm saying? And even if they do, like, it ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just going to give them full reason to take absolute control. Smart cities, artificial intelligence, etc., etc. So, there's many ways this can go, but I just am not viewing it like that. And like the polarity and popularity that a lot of this astrology has been getting, especially for this time period recently. Now, we've seen all this talked about, all these dates and stuff, for several months now. Dating all the way back to last year even. And we've just been as cool, as calm, and kosher and collective as we can be. And I'm just trying to lead by example, is all. Like, everybody acts like end times are coming. And I get it. It feels like that. Like, we're living out Revelations. Like, that's true. We are. I've said that. We've talked and done decodes on the false rapture event that could possibly come. False alien invasion, etc. But I guess people forget that those planets and stars ain't going nowhere. And, that's the dust that you're from. You're stardust, bro. Like, I don't fear, man. And I just think others are consumed by it. Be safe, eyes on the road. Yeah, and I'm not afraid of nuclear fallout. Like radium, raw. That's just the sun, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, if I'm exposed to it, like, I get it. Like, it might destroy this vessel, but that just means I was Icarus, bro, and I flew too close. You know? But we're right now holding battling that 702 golden pocket right here, you guys, at 71,100, basically. That 618 that we are trying to hold. So if we come back and retest 69.4, 67.9, even 66,600, like, if we still choose to come back and retest those ranges and then go up, that's fine. But we might also break this 71.5 range. 71.7 we've been calling it, actually. 72K, today's the 72nd day of the year. We can consider that as well. Bitcoin equals 72 in numerology. All this you guys should know. So that 786 even, if we can just break this range we're at right now holds 71.1, that 117 Master Chief Bitcoin code, right? Well, I see this third wave potentially continuing higher up to as high as 76, 77,000, and then coming back to test 74,000 as support. Before continuing to that 1618, 83K at the highest, close that CME gap up there. Adebayo just scored 83 points. Like, is this code telling us we're going to close this CME gap now between now and the 20th? Between now and the 20th, pay attention. So that's what I'm looking at, man. One more week, basically, to ride this out together. So just red right here, right now, because of Friday the 13th, little fake out, right? Negativity, fear, right? And then we'll probably squeeze these bulls higher moving into Sunday, CME open, and Monday morning. So that's just my thoughts on this and what we're seeing. I could be wrong. We could easily capitulate and fall over from here with the double top pattern right here at 73, 74K, the Lucifer number. 73 tied to sacrifice, ritual sacrifice, everything our code's been talking about, right? So this is a very esoteric, technical, critical range that we are at right here. So we got to pay attention to everything it is we've been saying, we've been coaching you through and walking you through in this price action right here. Squeeze higher or capitulate lower right here. And again, probably one of the most crucial weeks to pay attention to all year long, at least up to this point. Okay, we knew Super Bowl 60 was going to be big, and that same week on the 2-5 World Monarch Day leading into 2-6 Day, 123 days from the top, we hit our lows as of right now, which was right back here. So, you know, other than then, next week is going to be one of the most important weeks of the year so far since 2026 started. Yeah, man. Icarus, man. I've been waiting to see what these cats were, boys or girls, because I thought about naming this orangish one Icarus, but Icarus. But I'm pretty sure it's a calico, man. I'm pretty sure it's a female, man. It'd be very rare to see a male calico. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm hoping the orange and white one is a male, because I'm naming it Icarus, bro. Icarus Apollo. But yeah, I've already thought of that. So it's funny we're talking about this. I just can't tell, man. They're still a little too small for me. Remember, they were born on the winter solstice, you guys. So, like, they're barely 3 months old, you know? They will become the 22nd of this month, March 322. They'll be 3 months old. So, you know. The black one's the one that's been clawing me. Y'all know this because in the family wealth and health section, I share updates of the cats sometimes, you know, the animals. And the black one's the one that keeps clawing me. That was doing it tonight and in the last video. My bad. But so you guys, what have I missed? Again, there are some things that I'm working on behind the scenes, mad scientist, right? So I may know about it if, you know, it's a topic I haven't discussed. That's kind of what I'm asking, you know. Is there something I've missed or just that we haven't went over? New Fear and Greed Index tonight. It now changes at 7 and it's at 16. Okay. Alright. So, we'll continue to pay attention to that. It ain't really changed none. but I want to get y'all's opinion on the things we've been seeing in the world, if I had missed anything. Look, you guys, we talked about this the other night in class, right over here on Tuesday night, March the 10th, right, last day of normality, the 6-year anniversary of that. We were talking about breaking that 71,100, that 702 golden pocket right there, this gold horizontal line that's going at an angle right here. And if we squeeze right here, you guys, we're all right. All right. We're right back at $88,000 in the 223 EMA. 223 EMA, $88,000. We can be right back at $83,000 in the 618 right after bam, 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 bam. Adebayo scores 83 points. Like, come on now. Alright, man. Remember, I've kind of like, I really do feel like I've been the only one in the world that's been the whole time bullish. After calling 126K, after then calling and coaching to 60K, and then still saying we're going higher. I'll behave though. I'll behave. By the 83rd day of the year, yeah. Because you guys know when that is, right? See, Oz is, I know he's been using the code, right? So by the 83rd day of the year, that would take us all the way to coming out of 322 Skull and Bones Day, okay? And into the 24th day of the year, the true new year, right? March being the true first month. But anyway, this will be 26 days from the release of, well, Murder by Numbers. Again, 83rd day of the year, tied to our Murder by Numbers code right here by Adebayo, who scored 83 points. So on the 83rd day of the year, it's 26 days before this movie release. Okay? That's that 26 code in the 26 year. So, but that's the 83rd day of the year, March 24th. Okay? And again, that's right before the March 26th release of, something very bad is going to happen. And this is about a wedding, you guys. So if you didn't understand the connection about The Devil's Bride, this is about, this Netflix series is about a wedding. You know, you can go and read about it and do your own due diligence. I did. But, yeah. So the man, I got this pulled up, and I didn't mean to click on it, but I did. So we've been doing the next 9/11 decode, right? And the same man that took terrorist insurance out on 9/11 that was supposed to be in the building that morning, but then, you know, had his wife schedule him a doctor's appointment or whatnot, and he didn't go. He just bought a building in Los Angeles. Okay? You know, it's probably nothing, you know what I'm saying? But I'd shared that people were sharing this online at 1:06 p.m., that 106 code we've been talking about. But Larry Silverstein, 226, like Black Swan event, I mean, it's probably nothing, you guys. But I guarantee he probably takes terrorist insurance out on U.S. Bank. Okay? I mean, I'm actually interested in looking up this U.S. Bank right now. Again, it's one of the things that I said I was trying to look into. Los Angeles. Larry Silverstein. Yeah, but I really want a Wikipedia of that exact location. So, and see, I already knew that's why I'd have to wait to bring this up because I was running out on time. I need to find an exact location somewhere. Maybe one of you guys can help me find that. 5th Street. 5th Street. 633 West 5th Street, Los Angeles. Yeah, that's it. See if I can't find a Wikipedia on this. But yeah, I don't know. I'd just be paying attention to it. Bam. That's what I need. That's it. How tall is this? That's what I wanted to know. What? It's almost on the 119th West. Oh, man. You can't make that up. Groundbreaking, June 23rd, 19. Okay, construction started in the 88 year, like tied to Trump 88. Topped out April 18th. That's literally right there around the April 19th release of Murder by Numbers, right? But height is literally 1 foot away from being 1,019 feet. But it's the 1018 Luke 1018 code we were just going over tonight. Yes, it's remarkable. As we head into the 73rd day of the year, there's 73 floors. Pay attention to that. That's sacrifice, ritual sacrifice code. We're at 73K for Bitcoin, basically. Fighting against hitting 73K right now. So, yeah, owner Silverstein Properties Incorporated. Little mad scientist behind the scenes for y'all. Ooh. That 130, that 149 tied to Skull and Bones, Brotherhood of Death. But that 130, like January 30th, construction started in 1988, 130. On October 6th, 2005, officials stated that the government had foiled a previously undisclosed second plot to crash a plane into the building in mid-2002. What the fuck? On June 16, 2004, the 9/11 Commission reported that the original plan for the September 11 attacks called for the hijacking of 10 planes, one of which was to be crashed into the building. So there's some history behind this building that this man just bought, and we're cracking it right now live in class. That is nuts. So this is coming up in my next slide. We'll be doing a decode on this. Don't let me forget, you guys. Y'all send me reminders. My brain moves 1,000 miles an hour, and y'all know that. I'll be on to something else in the next shiny object that comes to our screens before long. Breaking the code of it. But yeah, that's deep. I'm glad I had scrolled by that page. Because again, the internet's been sharing that. So I was like, man, there's got to be something to that. You know, I knew who this man was. He owned the World Trade Center. Bought I call it hijacker insurance, but it's terrorist insurance. And yeah, I mean, who does that? You know what I'm saying? Like insider information type shit. Nancy Pelosi like deal. I'll behave. But you know, it's interesting, and it being U.S. Bank too, United States. You know, U.S. code as we hit 250th anniversary of America right here. So unique. It wasn't by me. Jewish number of death, you said 118 is? Yeah, 3110.3 or 310.3 would sound to 313 like today's date, Friday the 13th, March 13th. Oh, man. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. I got a good feeling about this. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens right here. We've got to break 73K. And continue this squeeze to the upside. I'll tell you that. We do not want to start losing 69K right here. That could get very bad. But you know, you guys, for the longest, I kept sharing with you guys my Uranus retrograde historic discoveries, you know, and we even talked about what if this time was different, you know, which are the four most costly words in investing. Because every time we saw a Uranus retrograde for the last 13, 14 years, it showed extreme highs and peaks or bear market lows. And yes, we saw Bitcoin hit a new all-time high just days after Uranus went into retrograde. So maybe the story's holding true. But we've also talked about what if this is the first station in direct that we then saw continuation into a new all-time high for the same cycle. You know, because if not, then this is going to be the shortest bear market in the history of the world. You know, at 123 days. You know, 1, 2, 3 go code that we were teaching you all around this time period throughout the beginning of the year, into January, December 3rd, 1, 2, 3, October 23rd, 1, 2, 3, January 23rd, 1, 2, 3. You know, yesterday, 12th day of the third month, 1, 2, 3, go. And here we go climbing since yesterday. You know, and so we've got to think about this, you know. Uranus still being square to Mars right now, and this war energy is tensing up. It's tensing up. You know, and that Uranus energy is going to carry us into April through cherry blossom season, and boy, what if we blossom through that war energy, and you know, right into that Uranus transition into Taurus out of Gemini. Again, all under a Gemini ran president, and as we transition into June and, you know, Gemini and Cancer and America's 250th, the Illuminati's birthday, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. You know, as well as Trump's birthday, like all this we've been talking about. Just this energy, everything we're experiencing over the next week. Remember what it's building us to, and what it's taking us through. With the importance of what's coming up after the Ides of March, after Pi Day tomorrow, after St. Patty's Day, Greenford, go, 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 Baker, Baker, Baker. You know what I'm saying? the 322 date, 21st, 22nd of this month, microstructure reset, but it being very powerful, being the first one of the zodiac wheel and the Mazzaroth, and well, it also being that Skull and Bones 322 Brotherhood of Death code into that 25th to 27th time period of something very bad is going to happen, being released. And what do you know? We're done with March then, basically, and well, here comes April, Liberation Day, second annual Liberation Day, first full anniversary done with, leading into Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday and Easter through Good Friday, Resurrection Sunday, right? All this that we teach about, and then also that 4/7 day, the 1 year anniversary of last year's chaotic lows, right? And that's the end of cherry blossom season into the 10th of April. That pink full moon that we'll be transitioning through at that time period, as we see Mercury at its longest elongation, its greatest elongation. So, I mean, the next few months, I think legends will be made, man. And I truly believe that. I've always believed that. You guys know that, I've been the only one coaching through the highs and the lows for the last 6 years. And I'm not bragging. I'm not boasting. I'm just saying I'm the only one that's been coaching at this level of clarity, at this level of fortitude. And yeah, I mean, I know I've worn my emotions on my sleeve at times. And I've shared a lot of my heartache and break that many people will hide from you guys. But if I'm ever about to potentially be sharing my success and my story with the world, then I got to know I was fully transparent along the way. So I know you've heard a lot of my pain over the last few years, but you're about to hear some success. And I think we're about to all be sharing success stories if we continue to view this market at half of the level of accuracy we've viewed it for the past 6 years. And so, I mean, I think I think we're about to blossom, you guys. So I'm planting my seeds, man. I hope you're planting yours too. Yeah! Video, please. What video? Only 4 minutes. Put it in the link, man. Put it down there, man. We'll watch one. Which one? Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna end it there. I think we pretty much got the gist of it. Kind of like a lot of what I was saying too, especially with this Uranus and Mars squaring off right now. He's talking about, you know, Mars and Rahu. Okay, very similar. And talking about it between now and then even into April, just like I was talking about with the Uranus transitioning into Taurus on my birthday, April 26th. Melania Trump's birthday as well. Very critical time period. Yeah. Really just adding confluence. I get it. I've seen these aspects too. I just don't really speak about them a lot. One, it's just hard for me to pronounce a lot of it. A lot of the time. It's not my native tongue. And so I just stick to what's easier. What's easier for people to understand as well, I think. But yeah, I see this 14th to 16th time period. I get it. It's Pi Day into the Ides of March. Everything we've been talking about, as well as today being the end of our 10-day window for the put cycle theory, being our crash window. So again, coming out of today, even heightened volatility over the next 72 hours or so, the next week, even into the 20th, into the 21st, 22nd microstructure reset. Like, very, very, very critical time period and window we find ourselves at. So, we want to hold 69. We don't want to lose 66.6. Like, very, very critical. We got to jump and start closing above that gap, that 1618, And even then, we can still see a scripted death from 83K, murder from 83K. It ain't just close the gap. It's fill the gap and hold it. Confirmed trend. Things like that. So it goes deep. Formerly known as Library Tower. What? First Interstate Bank World Center. Yeah, well, we're gonna have to look into that deeper with Larry Silverstein for sure. That's getting us on 9/11 style decode for sure. But yeah, you guys, we're gonna get ready to end class there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the recording and thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. You could have been somewhere else on your Friday night, but you chose to be here, and it means the world. So, hopefully you're soaking in the knowledge and the everything we've been sharing. I do find it funny that these people out of nowhere, though, before we leave, man, I do want to end this. Like, who are these people? Like, this GG33 numerologist, claims to be the king of numerology and numbers. Like, has he seen any of my work in 6 years? But he out here telling you guys to... It was funny because he's out here coming out of March 10th, the 69th day of the year, when I'm telling you guys about holding 69K on this day. And blasting to, 73 or so K is what we were talking about. He's out here telling y'all to short 69K coming out the 69th day of the year on the 6-year anniversary of C19. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I told him, man, look, man, you gonna leave the crypto sector here, bro. We only one Master Chief. And then this dude gonna be the same one that tells y'all to short XRP at $1.37. Are you serious? The 33rd prime number, and he claims to be a numerologist. You know what I'm saying? On March 11th, the third month, 11th day, 3 times 33. He gonna tell you to short the 33rd prime number, and here we are watching XRP go all the way back to $1.45. You know, up 12 cents already, holding $1.37, where he's telling y'all to short. Like, I'm just saying, I find this shit funny, bro. You know, the James Wins and the GG33s and H2Os of the crypto space, man. Let us pray. Oh, you caught that, didn't you? I'll behave. But yeah, man, we leaving it there, bro. Keep long in that XRP $1.37 range that we gave you guys as a bottom, while these mainstream accounts come out here and try to wreck you once again. I see $5 before I see 78 cents again. You know what I'm saying? That's just always been my opinion, and y'all know that. I could see $5.76. I could, you know, but I mean, we'll talk about that later if that happens. But I just think I'm gonna leave class there. I love you guys. Y'all have fun. I'll see y'all over the weekend and Tuesday night for show.